All right, so let's talk about email marketing for your medical practice. If you have an email list of patients, this is one of the biggest opportunities, yet often overlooked opportunities to helping you serve more people and help you grow your practice. So let's have a look at how this works. Hey, Yuri Elkaim here, founder and CEO of Healthpreneur. We help health practitioners fill and scale their practices by working smarter, not harder. And in this video, I want to talk with you about email, because email is a huge opportunity that I think is just way overlooked. And I started online in 2006 with my first health business, and the landscape of email back then is a little bit different than it is now, right? Email deliverability is down. A lot of stuff goes to spam, junk mail, the promotions tab at Gmail. There's a lot of deliverability issues. Plus, everyone's inboxes are swarmed with email. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, how do I make sense of email? Is it even worthwhile? Is it a waste of time? I can promise you it's not a waste of time. The worst type of email marketing is the email that is never sent. And in this video, I want to share with you, give you a better understanding of how email works in terms of how to make the most of it. And I also want to share with you a template that we call the weekly pulse, which I will walk you through in just a second. So when you send an email, there are three things that can happen. Actually, there's a fourth, but I'll touch on that very briefly. So when you send an email, there are people who are not going to open. So we'll call these unopens. There are people that are going to open, and there are people that are going to click, assuming there's a link inside that has a call to action. Now, there's also a little subgroup we'll call unsubscribes. Never email me again. I don't like receiving emails, whatever. Who cares about those people, because they're not going to work with you anyways, okay? So don't get caught up in unsubscribes. Look forward to them. It's all good. So what I'm showing you here is that when you send, let's just say 1,000 people an email, not all 1,000 people are going to open the email, right? Welcome to the real world. That's not how it works. What's going to happen is most people don't open the email. So if you're in the range, and I'm going to give you a ballpark number here, of 20% open rate, great. If you're higher than that, you're off, like you're like a unicorn, okay? Most businesses, and I've been around for a long time, are not even above 20%. So don't get caught up if you're not, if you're like, oh, my open rates are not 90%. That's normal. That's not to be expected. So 20% is a pretty good number. Now, click-through is the number of people who click on the link in the email. It's going to vary depending on the email. So I'm not going to worry too much about the percentages there. But typically, if we say that 20% open, that means that 80% of people don't. And why does that happen? Well, again, we talked about some emails might not even end up in their inbox. They might go to junk, spam, etc. And if the goal is to get the emails opened and ultimately to get the opened emails clicked on because there's some type of call to action or offer, like come into the clinic, book an appointment, whatever it is, it's super important that people get these emails. So how do we get more people opening their emails? There's a couple things we need to touch on. Number one is the email subject line. The email subject line is very important. It's the most important component of the email, because if no one clicks to open the email, then the email is rendered useless. So the email subject line should be curiosity-provoking, benefit-driven, all about them. The most powerful email subject line you can ever send is this. I want you to write this down. There you go. First name. Depending on the email service provider you're using, there's what's called a merge code. When you put this, and this might look a little bit different depending on what platform you're using, but if you put this in the subject line and that's it, when the person receives the email, it's going to say, like in my case, Yuri. Someone's sending me an email and the email says Yuri, my first name, as a subject line. The reason that's the most powerful subject line is because we only care about ourselves, right? Let's be honest, that's the way humans are. I promise you I've been doing this for a long time. I've sent probably tens of thousands of emails over the past 16 years, and no email subject line will beat that one. So that's the top of the pyramid. Okay, just start with that. So If we can get more people opening the emails, that's a good thing. Then obviously the body copy is going to be important. So the second thing that I want to touch on is it's not so much about the body copy, but I want to talk about your mindset around email. One of the questions I often ask people is how often do you send an email to your audience? And we'll get answers like once a month. I'm like, once a month? Why? And the answer is, I don't know what to send, or I don't want to piss people off, or I don't want to sound like, one of those scammy marketers. No. That's the wrong mindset, okay? Because when we're focused on, I don't want to bother people, we're focused on unsubscribes. And I want you to annihilate worrying about unsubscribes altogether, because those are not individuals who you want to have in your community, digitally or otherwise. So when I talk about mindset, I really mean we need to be more frequent. We need to be helpful. We need to be present, which ties in with frequency, okay? Because the amount of goodwill, think of it this way. So you've got, and I learned this from my good pal Frank Kern. So you have two buckets. You have the goodwill, or think of this as bank accounts. The more deposits you make in the goodwill bank accounts, right, the more you fill this up with your audience. So let's just say that's there. Okay. So you filled that up, and right now you've only asked, I'll give this a red color, not that asking is bad, but right now you've only asked a little bit. You said, hey, here's a special promotion, here's this thing coming to the clinic, whatever it is. But the problem is that when this starts to get out of balance, when all of your emails are asks and promotions and offers, that's when things start to get out of whack. That's when people start to tune out of your emails, because it's all about just self-promotion. So we need to think about, how do we increase our goodwill in proportion to the number of asks, so that when we do have an ask, or when we do make an offer, it's received more openly. So that's why you can't send one email a month and expect miracles to happen. You should be sending a minimum of one email a week. And what you'll find is the more emails you send, the more money you make. Now, what do you send as a doctor or health professional to your email list? Well, remember, we're not even hinging upon HIPAA compliance here. We're not talking about, here's the exact protocol to reduce inflammation. Here's how to, we're not giving protocols. I think the biggest mindset shift that we need to have is, don't live in the world of how to. It's overdone. People don't need 101 ways to use coconut oil. They don't need the top 3 tips to reduce headaches. Yes, that's important, but what people want is they want to connect with you as a person. So share more of what you believe, less of what you know. I know you're smart. You've got letters behind your name, obviously. But it doesn't mean that you have to live in the world of science academics all the time. People don't care about that stuff. They want to know stories. They want to be connected to people. And this is why your marketing, your emails need to reflect that. So we talk about frequency. I talk about once a week. If we're producing content or emails that are sent out once, twice, 7 times a week if you want, they need to be helpful. And the reason it's important to be frequent with your emails is that you need to be present in people's inbox. You need to be present in their mind. I would rather annoy someone than them not even knowing who I am. And remember, the right people won't get annoyed because you're providing them with helpful content. So being present means you're going to be top of mind. And when you're top of mind, you're tip of tongue. So when they're thinking of, I need to come into the clinic, I need to go see my doctor, my physician, whatever, they think of you. And you're building a relationship with them between visits by simply adding value to their lives in the form of email. So what I want to walk you through here is a framework and template we give our clients called the Weekly Pulse. This is one of many templates we provide for our clients. And this is an example of like a once a week email type of newsletter that you send out to your audience, okay? And you'll see here, the first thing we talk about is this icebreaker. Now, I give an example here that's a little bit graphic, but I guess that's sometimes the way my mind goes. So on the right here is an example. Okay. Hey, first name would be like, hey, John. Hey, my little guy Julian just threw up all over me. Yep, epic dad feeding baby moments. Apparently, he enjoyed the smoothie I made for him so much that he wolfed it down a little too quick and brought it right back up. Now, your physician, your medical practitioner, and the first couple sentences that someone reads in your email is something like that. Can you see how this is very different than, hello, this is Dr. Awesomeness, and I'm so smart. Here's some stuff you need to know about how smart I am. Okay? That stuff doesn't work. This, and it doesn't have to be about vomit, it just needs to be human. Email as if you are a friend. Hey, I was just out playing tennis, tweaked my back, whatever, right? Like just break the ice in a way that's just natural. So that's how you'd start the email, okay? Don't jump right into, today I want to talk about cool stuff. Just break the ice, okay? The next piece is the what's in it for them. So I'm going to continue on with my story here. So speaking of smoothies, I thought I'd share one of my go-to favorite recipes right now. I think you'll really enjoy this one. So let's say you're a OBGYN or you're an osteopath or a podiatrist or a chiropractor or whatever it is, and you're sharing a smoothie recipe. What does that have to do with your specific profession? Maybe nothing, but it gives them an insight into your world, and you're about to give them a recipe that they might find helpful, right? So now we're saying, okay, in this email, I'm going to show you some good stuff, but first, we're going to throw in some patient wins, some social proof, some credibility. So we're saying, before I do, I want to give a shout out to two of our amazing patients who've seen some amazing improvements in the last 4 weeks. Check out Deborah's amazing before and after pics, right? Insert. So proud of her for staying committed to her goals and putting in the work. Now, stop for a second. Obviously, this is going to depend on the nature of your practice in terms of HIPAA compliance, confidentiality. You make sure if you're ever using social proof or pictures, you get permission to do so, okay? So just a huge disclaimer there. And if you don't want to include before and afters, just talk about someone's journey with you, right? Without going into specifics and giving all away their personal information, right? So anyways, you just kind of insert some of that here. And what that does is it builds social proof and credibility that you're good at what you do without you saying, hey, I'm so cool. Next, we're going to go back to share the goods. So we talked about, here's a smoothie, but first, here's some wins. Let me get back to that smoothie now. So now, where was I? Oh yeah, the glorious new smoothie I promised you. I love making this first thing in the morning. So let's say that you, like me, let's say you love jumping on a Peloton bike first thing in the morning, right? So you might say something like this: I love making this first thing in the morning before I jump on a serious ride on my Peloton bike. Now, what that does is right away, other people, if someone is reading this and they're like, hold on, my doctor likes Peloton too, he's on the bike, that's amazing, so am I. There's a point of connection. Right? So add those little elements in. Or I love making the smoothie first thing in the morning before taking my dogs for a walk. Add that humanization, okay? Anyways, it's loaded with protein, going for hours, okay? So here's the recipe, ingredients, instructions. Anyway, give it a whirl. Let me know what you think, and so on. Then you can share some happenings in the biz. Oh, and speaking of the clinic, you do know that our doors are currently closed due to COVID pandemic. Now, obviously, this example was written during lockdown and stuff. That's why I put that in there. But the good news is that we've moved all of our patients into virtual appointments. And guess what? I think everyone likes them even more than coming to the clinic. Never would have predicted that one. But it is convenient, safe, and you still get the best of me. Just delivered virtually. So if you're doing telehealth, telemedicine, this is a good example of how to do that. And then we sign off and include something we call the super signature, which is something I learned from my buddy, Dean Jackson. Anyways, that's all for today. Hope you have a safe, healthy, and awesome day. Sign off, Dr. Awesomeness, right? P.S. Whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways I can help you. Now, look at what we've done here. This whole email is 100% goodwill. There's no offer. There's no nothing. After you sign off, this is what's called the super signature. Is, hey, by the way, whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways I can help you. 1, 2, 3. Super casual. And this is how you're able to grow your business, get more people coming in a nice, consistent fashion, at least through email, without making every single email highly promotional. So this is the Weekly Pulse. And that is something I think can be very powerful in your business. Now, remember, there's many ways of emailing people. And I think another important consideration is, when was the last time you emailed your email list? If you haven't emailed them for 6 months, Well, this type of email probably is a little bit too early in the relationship. You're going to have to use something called a reactivation campaign, which again, I'm not going to go into here, but if you like that, along with all of the other campaigns that we provide our clients with, and that we're just talking about email here. We're not even talking about other strategies to attract more patients in, to scale your business, etc. If that's of interest to you, we can probably help. And as I mentioned before, we're very, very good at helping health practitioners get patients scale their practices. And if you'd like to have a conversation about what that might look like for your business, then we would love to help you. And here's how we do so. We have a free consult called the Practice Growth Session, and it's an opportunity for you to jump on the phone with us, and we'll have a look at where you are, where you want to be, what are some of the things you're doing, what's working, what isn't, and then we can recommend a game plan for your specific situation to meet your goals. And if you're interested in having us help you install that in your business, we can certainly talk about it. And if not, no hard feelings. We'll part as friends and it's all good. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, click on the link below this video. It'll take you to a page just answering a few questions about your business. So we have some more context on how we can help you. And then you can book in your call and we'll be all set. So that, my friend, is the power of email. And please do not overlook how powerful email can be. Hope you found this helpful. I appreciate your time and attention. If you've enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone you know, and most importantly, go ahead and book your practice growth session below. See you soon.